Hey there, moms, dads, parents. This is Adam Creasey, also known as Coach Tall Guy. I'm here with Ian Richards, who's our Academy Director. We're here just to kind of talk through that transition piece as kids are interested in playing our Academy soccer and, also recreational soccer as well. So hopefully we'll answer any questions you have about Academy soccer and upper recreational soccer in this presentation. So please feel free to just kind of listen. If you have any questions, you can always email myself or Ian Richards. You're probably going to end up emailing Ian a lot more, but Ian, anything you'd like to say?
No, just hello and welcome to everyone. And we're excited to kind of give you a lot of this information. This is really the first fork in the road, if you will, right, when it comes to playing choices at the club and at any club really across Colorado. So obviously we're going to highlight all that information and know that we definitely have a place for every player that's interested in playing. That's really kind of the overriding message in this, I think, is while there are two choices, there's still a place for every player that wants to play, no matter their commitment level, their ability, their anything really. So yeah, I guess Adam, I'll bring up our presentation and let you start with it.
Awesome, thank you.
I just start at the beginning, hadn't we? Here we go.
Yeah, so again, we're really targeting for you guys as parents, your kiddo, if they're 2014, if for some reason they're, playing up an age group, they're 2015, some of this information will be good for you, but, we'll have to have that conversation about whether a player plays up or not. But, for most of you guys, you're all 2014. So, yeah, feel free to jump in. So just a little bit of history about us. We're super important to this community. We love Arvada. We love the area. Kids have been playing in our club since 1969. So we really are that true kind of like local club. What I love about this club too is that, all the coaches here are very experienced. They're very knowledgeable, and we offer programming, for kids starting at the age of 3 all the way up to 18. And what's unique about our club is we offer soccer programming recreationally all the way up to 18. And I love that we have this academy program for those kids who are kind of transitioning, who want a little bit more soccer, who might be on that path towards competitive soccer. We definitely use this whole person approach. It's not only about soccer. We want to instill through the game of soccer a bunch of life skills for those kids. We love the game, but there's so much more than just the game. So we want, to really focus on helping kids grow as human beings. Now, with any soccer club, but currently ours, on the recreational side, we do have a lot of awesome volunteer coaches, and we have paid coaches in programs like the academy and competitive as well. We'll kind of talk through that. But I think what's really cool about our club is we have dedicated full-time staff on the boys side of our competitive program, our girls side, Ian, myself, which is nice because that means you have somebody who's really dialing into your program and who cares about your kid. We can just move to the next slide. As you guys know, most of you, everything we do is at Stinger. We also have access to Long Lake. That seems to be growing more, so that's cool. And then during the winter times, we focus on doing a lot of programming at the Apex Fieldhouse. Next slide. Yeah, and again, just want to touch on that community piece. Like, you guys, that's what we're here for. You guys are our community, and we want to continue to offer lots of programming. We go into schools. We're around. We just want you guys to make sure that you feel not only when you're part of Edge, that you're part of Arvada's community. Next slide. So this is really the crux of this presentation is, you guys are, like Coach Ian had said in it earlier, we're at that fork in the road. So starting at the 8U season, we start to see kids who want more soccer. They're starting to play the game because they just not only love being with their friends, but they really love soccer and they want to be challenged. They want to grow as players. So we feel that starting at that 9U level, that we want to offer opportunities for kids who want more, who want just to play more soccer, but they also want to play with maybe kids of more their ability level, their motivation level. But we still offer programming for those kids who just enjoy playing soccer. So hopefully this presentation will kind of help guide you a little bit on your path as to whether you want to stay recreational or if you want to enter into our academy program. Next slide. So this is a good little breakdown of the recreational program and the academy program. So you can see here kind of what players get. And at the coach level, our recreational program, our upper recreational program, you're going to have a volunteer coach. Now, typically our volunteer coach is obviously a parent, and some of these parents have played many years. Some of them haven't played at all, but we depend on our volunteers. I support the volunteer coach with curriculum. I go out to practices. I offer podcasts, YouTubes. So they get a lot of coaching support. And you can see the difference in our academy program. And I'll kind of let Ian talk through some of that with you. Season length here, we have 10 weeks compared to 14 to 16 weeks. So you can see August, early November is our fall season on the rec side and on the academy side. And then you can see March through May for the spring season. Then this is a big one, the weekly practice days. So in our recreational program, you're only practicing twice a week. And again, we offer some staff training. So I get out there with some of my staff to help those kids and those coaches. You can see on the academy program, there's a difference there. Contact is big time difference. So in the recreational program, you're not going to have as much contact time on the field with soccer per se. So there's a little bit more flexibility. If you're looking to do some other things, you don't have to feel as committed. Where our academy program, we're asking for a bit more commitment. And the other big one here is this player commitment. So on the recreational side, as a parent, you register for the fall season. If you want to play in the spring season, you re-register, where that's going to be different on the academy side. And I'll let Ian jump in here a little bit, kind of talk you through some of the coach and all these tabs.
Yeah, so I guess I'll head back to the start of that table, the coaching, education, and the kind of minimum requirements that we're looking into for people involved in the program. And it says that, so USSF is the United States Soccer Federation. So it's an F license, which is an online course. And then United Soccer Coaches is the other main educational platform across the country that coaches can kind of find that kind of vocational training through. So either or the Fed or United Soccer Coaches, plus what Adam and I are currently kind of diving into for in these off-season windows, summer and winter, of a continued in-house educational program. So a lot of investment on our part in those coaches that we have involved in the program as a way to train them up, mentor them, and with a longer term vision of kind of handing them up into potentially, the competitive coaching program when players get to that age of 11U and older. So, and Adam, yeah, you touched on the other pieces. It's just contact time and season duration. And I guess I wanted to bring up probably the contact days of kind of 45 to 65 days per season. And people may see that number and see that figure and think, oh, we have to completely and utterly commit to soccer and only have my kid do one sport. And that sounds very scary. That's actually not the case in this age range and in this program. We have many players there's around 170 players in the academy program right now, currently playing this spring season. And I would dare say more than half of them are multi-sport athletes. And so all we really ask of families who play other sports in that case is just that it's communicated of, hey, I'm at baseball practice on Tuesday, but we'll make sure we're at soccer the next day. And even in terms of rest and fatigue and the overuse implications that can have, we just ask that, it's communicated to us. And if a player needs a rest day, then we absolutely support that player needing that. And we want to support in any way possible, keeping kids playing all the sports that they love to play. So by no means is this a presentation of to scare anyone into, like, soccer or bust, and we need you for absolutely every minute of every day. So while the contact time is a lot more substantial, obviously we know the implications of that sort of multi-sport route. So we fully support it. I want my kids to be multi-sport athletes when they come through. And yeah, that's hopefully a clear message that we can say, like, we support that route. So we'll skip it on.
Yeah, so on this slide here, you can see tournament wise, on the recreational side in the state of Colorado, there are tournaments, and we have recreational teams that enter tournaments. And usually if they're going to enter, it's one time a season. We have some teams that do more, and then we have tons of teams that never enter a tournament. And kind of on the recreational side, as the kids get older, there's less and less tournaments for rec teams, but currently for like the U9s and U10s, there are some opportunities if recreational teams want to play. Most of those teams, they end up talking with me, and I kind of give them advice as to what would be a good tournament. Obviously on the recreational side, this is about having fun, keeping costs kind of at a minimum, so we don't do any out-of-state travel. Our league play on the recreational side, particularly for the U9s and U10s, we partner up with other soccer clubs in the area. So Colorado Ice, Westminster, Boulder County United, and the Wheat Ridge Soccer Club. The reason we do this is we want to try to keep it pretty local, so there's not so much travel for you guys. We do have occasionally some teams playing in the Front Range League, which is a state league. That's only because they've maybe stayed together as a team and they have some experience, but most of our teams play in this Denver West League, and we found that gives the kids a little variety of competition, so they get to see kids in a different jersey, and it really limits the amount of travel that a family would have to do. So that seems to be a good fit for us. And at the 9U and 10U, we do 7v7, so same as Academy. I'll let Ian kind of talk through how the tournaments differ, travel, CSA, things like that.
Yep. So yeah, back at the top there, three to four per year, 3 in the U9 year. So everything that we're transitioning into for this 2014 birth year, there'll be 3 in the first year, and there's 4 in the second year. We wedge a summer tournament in for the players that transition from 9U up to 10U. So the 2013s, for example, right now will actually play this summer in an event, and we don't enter the brand new U9s into that event just because of that. They're brand new. We don't have the team set. We don't have everything in place for that to be a good experience. So we kind of give players and families a little bit of time to settle in to the program, and then we head towards those single weekend tournament environments. No out-of-state travel, like Adam said. This age doesn't really make sense to lump everyone on a flight or on a big bus and try and deliver a positive experience over state lines. It's just not something that we're kind of, we feel is advantageous to players of this age. Other clubs may well do that, but not here at Edge. So the league, CSA is Colorado Soccer Association, and the Front Range League intermediate divisions is where we enter all of our teams. So that can cover travel all the way up to Fort Collins, where there are 2 clubs up there. I've been to Greeley before. I've once been to Fort Morgan, out there up on 76, and then in the opposite direction all the way down potentially to Colorado Springs, and everything in between. We have one team this year, actually a U10 boys team, that's going to Vail for one road game. That doesn't happen very often. Vail are often in the Mountain League divisions, but for this particular age group, they're in the Front Range League. So like I say, kind of cover everything in between. Each season there are 4 road games in the regular season, and the 4 home games, which will always be at Stenger. And yeah, the 7v7 format is what you're about to dive into for the next 2 years before you head. 2 years after that is 9v9, and then by the time you play as the teenagers, as scary as that sounds to say, then they'll go to the full field and play 11v11. So, right, moving on.
Yeah, so you can kind of see if a team does want to enter into a tournament, it's usually about additional $40 to $60 per player. So that is not something that we actually cover in your registration fee. So on the recreational side, That's an extra cost if a team wants to do a tournament. Right now, our registration fee is $155. So if you do play the full year, you're looking at $310. I'll be honest, that's pretty good around the state. We take a lot of pride in making sure that our recreational program is affordable, and we just want to give kids an opportunity to play soccer, to anybody. And right now, as we're transitioning into some different uniforms, different vendors, things like that, it's still going to be close to $80. It could be a little less, possibly a little bit more, but I think that $80 on the recreational side is going to be pretty accurate. And like I said, it might be a little less as well. And then I'll let Ian just kind of talk about those things on the academy side.
Yeah. So the tournament fees are just obviously it's the same regardless of the level. When we enter an event, they don't, tournament hosts don't charge different tournament entry fees depending on the level that you're in this age range anyway. So what we've done is kind of roll that in to the yearly fee that's in the second box there. So like say 3 events during the 9U season and 4 during 10U season. So all that bundled in on top of what we would typically have charged comes out to $950 for the first 9U year, and then $995 for the 10U year. The uniform's a little bit more expensive because we actually ask that all the players buy a little bit more gear, a nice backpack, practice jerseys, and the kind of the tracksuit pants or a hoodie or a zip top, just to kind of start the transition towards that, I guess the more serious minded player and family, so that as we're out there and practicing, we're all looking like we're in the same, we're in the same stuff. We're looking sharp and understanding the environment that this program kind of creates. So there's just a few more items, as the jerseys are actually in the same kind of line. The game jerseys, there's just more items to purchase. So we'll move it on. All right.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna kind of let Ian, I'm gonna turn this all over to Ian. I would encourage you guys as parents to really take a moment to, just really dive in and really listen closely to Ian, because this is unlike many programs. In my experience being in coaching in the state of Colorado for a long time, I think Ian's done a fantastic job of really being thoughtful about how to develop players at this age, and has a good understanding of players at this age. And this is a huge piece for you guys. So if there's a moment you're really going to tune in, this would be a good time to do it.
Yeah. This might be the bit that you slide the timeline back to once we've posted the link, just to kind of digest everything that we've been through before. And if you're a returning parent, it's particularly important as well, because we are evolving, we're making changes year on year, and I'm always looking to, with the guidance of Adam and our other staff, looking to kind of make small adjustments to improve the delivery of our program. I'm never one to think or even say the words, we've always done it this way. We can always do a better job, and this little tweak, this evolution of the delivery of the academy program is something that we feel is for the better, and will have a positive influence on all of our players that come through the program. So this somewhat complex looking flow chart diagram chart, I'll actually start towards the bottom. So the boxes along the bottom: red team, black team, white team, yellow team. They're just team labels of the levels that we'll ultimately create. And that I'll just skip one slide in. We could go blue, purple. If we make more teams, we'll just come up with more colors. We'll cover the whole rainbow. So the bit that's going to change in the delivery of this program is, so typically we've had independent and impartial coaches be part of an age group. And we've kind of come away from having a lot of parent influence in the coaching delivery. And so what we've come to realize is, almost back to the second slide of our presentation, we have so many parents, so many volunteer coaches that are currently with Dave Roberts in the under eights and have done a fantastic job over the years, that we actually now have a huge resource at our disposal in the knowledge and experience of parent coaches that we can now utilize by inviting them to be part of this program. So 2013 age group was really the first one to kind of head in a direction of a lot of parents being involved. That's not to say it's just an open forum and we'll drag anyone in off the street. These are people who have a coaching background or have a strong playing background that I've had conversations with leading into the start of an academy season. And so for the 2014 age group, that's something that I'll now be actively looking for, is kind of above these team colored labels as parent coach / TM, and TM just means team manager. So what I'm going to do as we head towards the intake of all these players is using Dave Roberts and Adam also is start approaching people who are involved in the 8U program right now, engaging interest if they'd like to become a coach in my program in the future. And as the table highlighted a couple of slides back, we're working on a pretty comprehensive in-house training program to bring coaches up to the methodologies and the game ideas that we want to implement for the players, as well as some online courses as well. So this is really the biggest shift in the delivery of the program, is leaning on and utilizing this wonderful pool of coaches that we currently have around the club, and bringing them in so that we can, invest heavily in a lot more resources to give, the players the best experience they can. So just above that, if I'm kind of working backwards on the chart, the player pool. So if I use the left side of it, red team, black team, is a player pool of 20 players with, like say, 2 parent coaches who will be paid. By the way, that we know that this is going to take up a lot of time, so they'll be compensated for that. So the player pool is 20 players maximum. That could potentially be 2 teams of 10 come Saturday, come a tournament weekend, but the 20 would train, practice 3 times a week together. And all of that is led by a lead staff trainer. So that's more likely to be someone who's hired independently and impartially within the club. Another independent contractor. We have some great people involved in the program now that are likely to cycle back, having completed their 2 years with the 2012s. They'll come back to pick up the 14s. So I'm looking to obviously retain those people to then guide and mentor 2 individual parent coaches within the player pool, and to kind of come all the way up to the top of that is me at the top of that tree. And the next slide over just demonstrates how that could be across 6 teams. That has the potential to cater to 60 kids. That would require 6 quote unquote parent coaches, 3 player pools, a couple of lead staff trainers, and like say all under the guidance of and the direction of myself. So and like say Adam, you'd be part of that too, and also Dave Roberts, when he's not chasing around all of his kiddos in the 4s through 8s, he loves to get over and see how the players are developing and maturing through the ages and the different phases. So plenty of support on the field there for the players. And like I say, this might be the most important part, to just go back on the video and just try and listen through it all again. And really I think this section of our presentation is going to create the most questions, and that's what we're here for, is to answer them as best we can. And I guess before I move it on, to really put a bow on the top, is this adjustment, this evolution of the delivery is, one, because of the growing interest in the program, which is a good problem to have, but also not, like I said earlier, to not be in the mode of, well, we've always done it this way. We're always looking to make things better and provide a stronger on-field experience for our players, and get them to continue fostering their love of the game and continue to have them play as long as we possibly can. So Adam, if you have anything to add before we move it on.
Nope.
Okay, so this a little bit more in depth, player characteristics. this little, I guess it's a flower with petals. Right in the middle of it is our player. The player is absolutely central to everything that we want to do. Clearly, it's a team game, so there's team functions, and we have to play as the 7 on the field against the 7 opponents that are trying to put it in our goal. And but obviously, the individual is at the center of everything that we want to achieve within the program. So this little graphic just kind of highlights 5 little player characteristics of the technical side of the game, which is the how, which is the player with the ball. How do they physically move with it? How do they develop their skills? It sounds like probably the most obvious one to start with, but know that there's an in-depth idea that we want and skills that we want to develop and individual possession traits that we want to bring out in all of our players. The 4 others that may just often seem to blend into the background, because obviously it is about being out there on the field, and I'll just list them rather than dive in too deep. But read and understand the game to make decisions. That's really the tactical side of the game. Making a decision is a tactic, and the simplest form of tactics is just to make a decision. Obviously, we can get more in depth in that as the players mature, but know that that's a key area for the individual improvement of players. Executing physically, obviously everyone's going to go through a little growth spurt over a winter. We see players come back in spring and they're 2 inches taller and they're retraining how to move again, never mind take a soccer ball with them. So there's a physical development that we're aware of. The next one, show focus, take initiative and be proactive. This is more of a maturity side to player development. Does a player know what they've been entered into? Do they know that they're there to take part in an organized practice and everything that requires? And then finally, I guess more on a holistic and a whole person approach, the accountability and responsibility of each individual. So are they a good teammate? Are they respectful to their teammates, to their coaches, to their opponents and the officials that take charge of our games? There are, parents as well. At the end of each game, we'll bring our teams kind of to the middle and applaud the support of our parents on the opposite sideline. And it's funny to see sometimes players like, why would I clap for my mom? And it's reminding them that you're the one who's put them in this environment. You're the one who's ultimately paid for them to be in that environment, and kind of, the respect of that and really bringing the whole player through via this vehicle of the beautiful game of soccer. So just really this slides in to show that we have kind of things in place, not just, the X's and O's and the cones on the field. There's an in-depth kind of plan to deliver everything that we say we're going to. So this presentation is going to be available for you to kind of look at in a PDF format. So the next bunch of slides is really just what I've just very briefly, hopefully very briefly anyway, spoke about. The accountability and responsibility is the last one there. So this next one, kick arounds, probably the most important piece of the intake process. Kick arounds is a label that we put on events where we bring players out and we, for the most part, are going to let them play. We may well, over the course of a couple of the dates that I'll talk about in just a minute, we may well throw cones out and run structured activities, but in all likelihood, the kick arounds take place to serve the players in the environment of playing, and just seeing how they love the game, how they enjoy the game, how they interact with potentially different teammates. So Adam, if you wanted to add anything to kind of the kick around event, the kick around vibe.
Yeah, I mean, the kick arounds are awesome. I think it's just a great opportunity for all these U8 players to, they've been on their teams for a while now. Some of them started fall and continue spring. And I think it's really important that kids get to the kick around so they can kind of get to see kids that they've played against, get to know them. It's great to meet Coach Ian and some of the other staff, and it kind of, as a parent from the sideline, you're getting to see like a lot of different kids, and it's a lot of fun to see wow, that could be the future. Or, oh, I remember my kid playing against that kid and now they're playing on the same team together. And I think that's kind of exciting. So the more you can get your kids to these events, the better. We offer a lot of them, which is great, but I would highly encourage you to try to get to those kick rounds.
So in bold here on the slide, pre-registering your Edge family account. It should go live at the time that we're currently recording this. I think that's where we've activated it for. And it'll be called 2014 birth year kick rounds or kick rounds. And obviously you'll see 2014 boys or 2014 girls, depending on, what you see for your child. So please register for that. That expresses your interest in attending these events on the dates listed below. It's not a commitment. By signing up is not a commitment to you're absolutely going to be in. So please register and come out. And if you come out once and think that's not for my kid, we're going to go down the recreational route, that's completely fine. You just let us know that. Adam or myself, we'll obviously then we can deactivate that registration in the account. So please don't think this is any sort of financial commitment by just registering for those kick rounds. Obviously, hopefully we can attract the families and players that are considering this as a playing option. But by no means is it this scary commitment that you can't get out of if it's not a good fit. So to the dates themselves, they're on Fridays, May 6, 13, 20, and 27. It'll be in the back southeast. I gotta remember my compass. Southeast corner, kind of by the tunnel that goes underneath to the field house. The field numbers are 36 through 41, and all players are invited to come and participate between 4:30 and 5:30. And actually, at the conclusion of that hour at 5:30, for those that may want to stick around, the current academy players then come in for their third practice, their Friday free play practice, beginning at 5:30. So it'll actually be the girls 5:30 till 6:30. So you could actually see the current academy players in action. Our third practice of the week, we call Friday free play. And that gives us an opportunity to coach a little bit more of the game stuff, a little bit more tactically and positioning and those sorts of things, because they just come in and get to play the full field 7v7 format for 1 hour. And the other two practices during the week are more of those activity based and scenario based. We used to be able to say drill, but obviously we don't say that word anymore. But that's the structured activities take place on the first 2 days, and there's a bit more freedom on the Friday. So yeah, please email me. I'm ianr@edgesoccer.net. Adam is adamc, obviously Adam Creasey, adamc@edgesoccer.net. We'll have our contact info on the final slide. But Adam, if there's anything else there in terms of that event, then let us know it. And like I say, it's a fun time, even if you just come out and you get to play for an extra hour that particular week. Then please register, show up, and we look forward to having you out there. All right, so a little kind of timeline for everything. May, as we've just talked about, is the kick rounds out there at Stenger. Friday, June 3rd, which is a couple of days after the competitive tryout window, which as an entire staff, we're all involved in. So I'm going to kind of give myself a little bit of time to assist in the competitive tryouts, and then on that Friday, 3rd of June, kind of focusing back on the intake for this program. Expect the invitations to be sent. We'd like to just give 7 days for everyone to accept or decline their spot, and then begin the uniform ordering process. And we give that week just to let everyone kind of, have a night or two to sleep on it and chat with their child and see if that's something that they really want to do. And really after that window, we're administratively on our side of things, we're immediately into kind of piecing things together. How many kids do we have? How many teams did we form? We then begin the process of entering into league for preliminary league alignment with the Colorado Soccer Association. So that while it seems like the off season, it's really, we're pretty much straight into an administrative window for setting up a successful fall season. So obviously need more time, just communicate that to us. Maybe you've headed out on vacation right away as soon as the kids finish school, but we'd like to keep it within that kind of early June window, just to really know where we stand in terms of numbers, and so that we can best prepare for the fall. So July, no scheduled on-field contact. The club run camps throughout the summer, so please check out our camps page. All the camps are live currently in your player's profile on edgesoccer.net. So no structured or scheduled events for the programs within that month. And then come August, when the Sea of Arvada open Stenger up after a summer of rest and maintenance and having it looking beautiful again, we'll be back out there. Traditionally, it's been the second week of August, but we'll know more once the city allow us to start obtaining permits again. And then the season goes from late August and kind of like we said in the table, by the second weekend in November, it's pretty much wrapped up. So Adam, anything to add on that in terms of timeline and kind of how it
Not
looks?
much other, same thing here in May. At the end of May, we'll open up the recreational registration. So if you are considering going the recreational route, you can register in May. That window of registration will stay open through mid-July. The sooner you register, like even for academy or for upper rec, the better, because we have to start making teams, seeing how many kids we have, looking for volunteer coaches on the rec side. And other than that, we'll start a little bit later than the academy kids come August for fields, as we try to leave that registration open a little bit longer to give families an opportunity, if they want to play soccer, to register.
Right. Sounds good. Okay, so as a club, we have kind of two partnerships, two outlets for kind of kickback opportunities, which can help fundraise to settle fees within the club. Shopper's script is one, and the details are right there. So there's a rebate once you buy script cards of varying amounts. It's a huge platform of gift cards, and then the grocery card fundraising program through King Supers and Safeway as well. So the information's there. Quarterly allotment of dollar amounts to those who participate, and I believe in that one, you buy a card and you can tag it to a primary account. So for family members and grandparents who shop in these grocery stores, they could be part of that, and they can help contribute to that kickback dollar amount. Todd Getty, our general manager, is the guru of all of this stuff. He can probably better explain it, and his information's there. He's Todd at edgesoccer.net, or call the main office line, and he can really dive into the details of that. But great way to kind of being out there in the community and just kind of making your purchases as you normally would, kind of look into some of these programs that can kind of provide kickback opportunities that can help offset some of the fees that we have. So yeah, good way to be part of a little program there. Adam, do you do this one?
No, I should though. I was just thinking about it for my own son. I should get after it.
That pretty much brings us to the end, really, of everything that we wanted. We wanted to kind of keep it somewhat short. We've done live versions of these in the past that kind of drag on, because you can get excited on a topic, and we can have people looking at their watches thinking, all right, I just wanted to ask my one question and get off the live Zoom or the live YouTube, whatever we've done. So yeah, we tried to kind of land the plane, if you will, as quickly as we can, and provide the basic information, and hopefully it does spark some questions, and we'd love to hear from you with those questions. So our contact information is there on the slide. Adam C at edgesoccer.net, ianr at edgesoccer.net. And yeah, thank you for your time. Thanks for taking the time to watch and tune in, and please go back and kind of recap anything from the link, and like I say, please reach out with those questions. And I guess one last plug for me is where I mentioned those parent team managers being involved in the program. If anyone is already excited about the potential to come and kind of learn what we're doing and be part of it, feel free to kind of make the first move and reach out. And like I say, I'm in touch with Dave and Adam frequently in terms of who do they believe, you know, in their access to the current age group, who do they believe would be a good fit. So I'll certainly be reaching out to, you know, a handful of people and kind of gauging interest as well. So Adam.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, don't hesitate to ask questions. That's what we're here for. We're a great resource. I just love this opportunity for kids who are moving into this 9U age group. You know, having opportunity to play academy, if that's the direction they'd like to go, is huge. And then on the recreational side, I think it's great to have a program where, you know, kids can just keep playing. You know, you don't have to go one way or the other per se, but the most important thing, and I think Ian would agree with this, is obviously we just want kids playing soccer, and we want to give them programs that help them grow as soccer players, that keeps their enjoyment of the game just there for a lifetime. We don't want kids quitting because they feel like they got to do one thing or another. Yeah, so don't hesitate to ask, and we hope to see you out there on the fields.
All right, thanks again everyone for tuning in.